Hey guys, we're in beautiful Southwest Florida with the Infiniti QX50. Let's go ahead and go for a drive, and at the end we'll also do a quick buying guide for this luxury compact crossover. Let's go. Lifting the hood of the Infiniti QX50, we have a 2-liter VC turbo engine. It's quite a gem. It's very, very smooth. We'll find out when we drive. It's got 268 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed auto. You can get it in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And it should return about 30 miles per gallon on the highway. I'm getting about 22 miles per gallon out here driving around town. We also have a little shock on each side to keep this hood up for us. And the design of the QX50 is really beautiful. We have this very large Infiniti logo. This might be one of the largest logos I think I've ever seen on a luxury vehicle, but it's darkened out because we're in the sport grade, which gives us this really unique gloss black grille here and a completely unique front bumper as well compared to the other trim levels. If you look at it from the front, it looks very similar to its stablemate, which is a QX55 crossover. I think the QX50 looks beautiful. I like the fog lights in the corner. The headlights have aged well with these large 20-inch wheels on the corner here. They're machine finished with a gray accent that doesn't quite match up with the paint color, but unless you look really close, you're never gonna notice. I think they look fine. This is blacked out as well compared to some of the other trims, which is gonna have a little chrome strip. The mirrors are paint matched. We have a gloss black window surround here. And the lines that go from the front hood from certain angles, like from this angle right here, is amazing, very noticeable. There are very few vehicles out there on the market, especially in its own class. It looks like the QX50. I think Infiniti's done a great job with the styling that really sets this vehicle apart, and the sport package with all the black accents here with the Infiniti logo typed out, all-wheel drive, everything is gloss black. It looks really premium, really nice and sporty at the same time, with this little inbuilt spoiler as well. We have darkened exhaust tips, which look quite great, and even paint matched there at the bottom around the exhaust tip. Let's go ahead and get in the cargo space. We also have parking sensors back here, just gonna help you back up. Lots of cargo space. I'll go ahead and put exactly what the cubic feet. There's that Bose amp. We'll talk about the Bose sound system here in a little bit, and you get 2 different offerings of that Bose sound system. Nice 120 volt, and this is actually the most sturdy 12 volt cover I've ever seen. The resistance to this is excellent, feels very meaty, has a nice click to it. All right, we can also fold down the rear seats, 60-40 split, which is nice that these levers do that, and the seats will fold flat for us, which is quite nice. So automated liftgate, let's go ahead and close that. And we'll get into the back seat. I like that we have smart key access, so if you have the key in your pocket, you can lock the door with this physical button, which is more responsive than the touch sensitive buttons on some of the competitors. So I like having this physical one. Let's go and get in the back seat here. Let's go and get in the inside because it's about 95 degrees outside. A pretty basic plastic trim here, not wood. You probably see that on maybe some of the higher trims here. No sunshades, but it is soft touch, a nice stitching here at the top of the door. I actually have good headroom back here at 6'1", and my leg room is decent enough behind my seat at 6'1" as well. We have a USB-C and a USB-A down here for your passengers, maybe a little slot here for a deck of cards, small drivetrain hump. Nice to have vents back here, and that's what I expect from a luxury vehicle. Lifting the seat up, we do have that red and black interior. The only other option is just going to be fully black with silver stitching. So I like the contrast here of the dark red and black in this sport model. Now we do have hard touch behind here. It's not that big of a deal. One of its biggest competitors, like the Genesis GV70, has hard touch on the back as well, if I remember correctly. And back here you can enjoy the large panoramic sunroof, and this big piece here actually opens and slides. Automatic windows in the back, which is great. And this is an illuminated Infiniti door plate here. Vertical lumbar control on the driver's seat, which is great to see. Again, that 2-tone leather, which looks great. Aluminum Bose grille here. We have another speaker here on the A-pillar next to the blind spot monitor indicator, as well as memory seats, just 2 settings here. And you can see all those automatic windows, which is great to have. Closing the door. Sounds okay. And since we're talking about the Bose sound system right off the bat, it sounds really good as long as you're not getting any like plastic vibrations. This door panel here, when the bass comes on, rattles really badly. You can hear me just touching it. It's not that like secure. And if I pull on it while it's rattling, it stops. So, you know, they're not the only ones to have a rattly sound system. I've been in the Lexus NX with a Mark Levinson sound system. Now that hits a lot harder, but doesn't have the same sort of vibration that this vehicle has. I've also been the Acura RDX with ELS audio, and that has some rattles on the dash, maybe the A-pillar if I remember correctly as well. So, all right, let's get back to the fit and finish, the materials, the tech. I like the two-tone here with the red and black on the armrest, nice and firm. Just a little bit of softness. This is all felt lined, very well done, very luxurious. Every single piece of this feels great. Now I have this rotary dial here, which plays with the top screen, which plays my Android Auto. That's all I'm going to put up there because I'm never going to use the Nissan or Infiniti setup. But I have a 360 camera, which is great to have on here. It's not the most high resolution, but you know what? It gives me what I need, and that's what's most important. We have a second screen, which I always leave my Sirius XM on. Now, if you're listening to your music on Android Auto, it might be a little redundant. Because this screen, your home screen, is going to be up most of the time, because if I play my Amazon Music on here, it's not going to play down here on the bottom. So I'm stuck to just a one screen. So maybe in the future, Nissan Infiniti can make just one big screen that we can customize it a little bit more. All right, besides that, we do have an old school CD player. We have tuning and seek buttons. I love having the volume knob here, which is right off of the armrest, very comfortable. Heated and ventilated seats in here. I do have a heated steering wheel, but I have to go through the menu. For example, I have to press climate to get to this heated steering wheel, which is, yeah, I'd rather just have it a button over here. The climate control buttons are very easy to get to though, and I do appreciate having the ventilated seats in here. We have a very small screen between these dials. If I rev it, you can see the tachometer right here. Fuel economy's gone down a little bit since I've been idling this car, but like I said, 22 miles per gallon in town. Now this button right here will cycle through some of your settings. These are your safety settings, your Infiniti Shield with radar cruise control and whatnot. Honestly, I just keep it on fuel economy. That works well enough for me. The steering wheel, now this vehicle has about 10,000 miles on it. So how is the steering wheel weathering 10,000 miles? Well, it looks pretty good. I found out that Infiniti stitching is always some of the best on the market, and that's no exception here. Really well done. This vehicle is made in Japan. And we have paddle shifters back here to row through the simulated gears on the CVT. On the left, here's your headlight control as well as your steering assist and your button to lift the lift gate. I also have auto folding mirrors. You see the lady on the bike go by with our auto folding mirrors. It's great to have that feature as well. All right, let's buckle up. Time to drive the Infiniti QX50. I didn't talk a lot about the shifter here. Feels pretty good, pretty simple to use. Just press this little button on the side, slam it into drive. And you also drive mode select, which will come up on the top screen. You have 4 different driving modes: personal, sport, standard, and eco. But let's just drive in standard mode from now, and I'm sure we'll pop it into sport at some point in this drive. Right off the bat, we see the limitations of the CVT. Now, most people are never going to, if you have your radio on or your tunes playing, you're never going to notice the engine sound, but it is a little buzzy right off the bat. But even though it's buzzy, I do have a good response. Like, that torque is there, right, available from the start. Just don't expect a really hard launch, I've noticed from Nissan and Infiniti CVTs. The steering here, it's very light. I don't get a lot of communication coming back from the steering, but it handles pretty well, I'll say that. Now, just pedal down real quick. And that's when this engine sounds good. I'll slow down a little bit out of respect for this biker. That's where this engine sounds good, you know, past 3,500 RPM. Nissan has some good audio coming in from the engine bay, and it makes a really unique sound with this variable compression turbo 4-cylinder. U-turn radius here was actually pretty impressive. So if you're driving in the city, your maneuverability is going to be quite good with this compact crossover. I think it's got plenty of power and torque for the average person, and it does simulate some gears. Now, it's easy for me to just rest my arms on both armrests here. I have really good visibility. I feel like I sit up pretty high in here despite having a good amount of headroom. Let's put into sport mode here. Hammer from the stop. Yep. Once it hits about 2,500 RPM, it becomes a completely different vehicle. But it has some hesitation before getting there, thanks to no traditional transmission here. You know, the ride quality is quite impressive in here. It's a bit on the floatier end, and I know this is the sport model, but don't think that just because it has the more aggressive sporty looks, which I really like, don't think that it is a sporty handling vehicle by any means. Infiniti has really put this on the luxury end of comfort, ride quality, and road isolation. I don't get a lot of noise coming. No wind noise, 40 miles an hour here, and just the slightest hint of road noise and tire noise. So if quiet and comfort is very, very important to you with sporty looks, Nissan and Infiniti have hit it out of the park here with the sport grade QX50. Time for a quick break to see what the brakes feel like here. Let's get hard onto them now. Pretty good. I feel like the harder you get on them, or the faster you need to stop, the better that they feel. But in like moderate to mild braking situations, they're not the most linear or predictable. But I have no issues stopping this car smoothly at all speeds. Just they feel the best when you're coming from a high speed to a low speed in a short amount of time. We got some clear road ahead of us. Let's go ahead and flip it into sport mode. Pedal down. It sounds good. I'll give it that. Let's see how it does. Oh my gosh, like I said, the suspension in here is so smooth. Oh my gosh, that typically really rattles and wrecks cars. This Infiniti did a great job of handling that massive dip in the road. I want to say this QX50 was redesigned around 2018, 2019, and there's been little to no changes for this vehicle since then. As a result, it seems like Infiniti is giving a lot of incentives here in mid-2023 if you're looking to lease or buy this vehicle. So let's head back in the office where I'm going to give you guys my quick buying guide. But last note here is that the AC does work really, really well in this Infiniti. That's something not all of its competitors can say that they do a good job cooling down the cabin. Like the Acura RDX, I remember that I drove, did not have the coldest AC. And this, like, my toes are cold. I'm wearing some really nice sandals. Go ahead and check out in the description below for Earth Runners if you want a 10% discount. But my toes are frosty cold right now, and the AC is not even, it's at, you can see 3 fan speeds. So very well done, Infiniti, with your cool AC system in the hot mid-90s Florida sun and humidity. Heading on over to InfinitiUSA.com, we're going to go ahead and build our own QX50. So they have quite a few different trim levels here, starting off with the Pure, which is a little over $40,000 for the front wheel drive model. Try to get all wheel drive. It's a great feature to have. Even if you don't feel like you need it, it's a great safety feature to have, maybe in if it starts raining hard, even if it doesn't snow in your area, like for me in Florida. Anyways, I think the QX50 Sport, the way it looks as well as the way it's equipped, is everything I could want really in a luxury vehicle. Around $48,000-$50,000. So I would be getting the exact vehicle. If I was getting this QX50, that is, I'd be giving that exact trim level. So we're going to build and price off of the QX50 Sport model and go from there. Now, let's see what kind of paint colors are available right now. I had the Graphite Shadow, which looks okay. I mean, but it looks like every other car out there. You don't, at least I don't see a lot of QX50s on the road in this Hermosa Blue. But I think I'd be going for red. I think this car would look really, really sharp with this red color. And let's go ahead and look at interior as well. As I mentioned before, it's either all black with like a gray or silver stitching or red. And I think the red on red would look pretty cool. But I also like this slate gray color, if you can find that on your QX50 as well. But let's go red. Now that's about it. I could add some body protection if I wanted to, with some splash guards or rear bumper protector, some additional styling. I think the roof rails would look really nice on this. Maybe the matte chrome mirror caps as well, but I think that this vehicle already has some pretty good looking mirrors, so I don't want anything else on there. All these other additional grille options are essentially for the non-sport model. They don't apply to this vehicle. Now you could get some Infiniti exterior welcome lighting as well. It's not worth the money in my opinion. So really, there's no other features that I want on this vehicle. The thing is, with this car, there is an additional Bose sound system. I think it goes from 12 speakers to 16 speakers, but those are only available on the top grades. I think this sound system sounds great. Again, the only thing holding this sound system back is that hopefully you don't run into any door rattles or dash rattles. I had front passenger door rattling, and if I owned the vehicle, I would find a way to fix it, stick something in the door to make sure it's fitting tight so I wouldn't have that rattle. And it's only on heavy bass songs. When I was listening to classical music, I didn't have it at all. But when you're listening to some heavier bass stuff, some techno or whatever, you're going to hear that door rattle, but hopefully you're not. So your mileage will vary because every car is a little bit different, even within the same model and the same assembly line. All right, so skipping to summary here. Okay, so if you're to finance, 5.9 APR, I wouldn't be financing this vehicle. I would be trying to lease it. The good news is at this point in time, we're in early August 2023. Infiniti right here is outside of electric car automakers, is the highest incentive automaker out there in the market. I would say largely due to their aging cars. They really need to move these vehicles. And so the incentives are really high on Infinitis. And this past July, Infiniti incentives have more than doubled, it looks like, to $5,600 per vehicle. So hopefully you can get that sort of lease cash going on, and that's going to drastically lower your lease payment. After doing a little digging at InfinityUSA.com, looking at the QX50 lease deals here, well, $500 a month is still a lot, especially when you're putting over $5,000 down. Now, if you're lucky enough to be coming from an Infiniti, you get that loyalty bonus of $1,500. So that will lower your initial payment to less than $4,000. If we look at offer details, this lease deal is on an MSRP of $41,000. And that is just not on a desirable build. That's on their base pure model. So I can only imagine that the $52,000 MSRP one that we built would skyrocket this monthly lease to $600 a month at least. So we're going to head over to cars.com to see what's available within 150 miles of where I live here in South Florida. And we're seeing some discounts that's going to help you out with the price in this vehicle. So real close to me, less than 100 miles, we have a QX50 Sport with that cool slate gray color. That is about $2,500 off MSRP. Now let's go ahead and look at lowest price because I only have the Sport trim in here. So we have a black model that's all the way down to $48,000, and the reason why that's sitting here because no one wants black. Well, very few people want black here in South Florida because it's just so darn hot. But there's a slate gray for a little bit under $49,000. So you're starting to see some models here in the Sport trim compared to $52,595, so about $4,000 less. So that's really going to help lower your monthly payment, lease payment especially. And just because it's listed like this, don't be surprised if you can even get a better deal with haggling with them. We're to the point here in 2023, late 2023 here, where production really improved compared to the last 2 years. The supply restrictions and the microchip restrictions have pretty much been resolved, and that allows for more production, which allows for a buyer's market when we have more choice, more vehicles to pick from, and the dealers have a swelling inventory nowadays. And within 150 miles, we have a total of nearly 300 QX50s, so they're willing to deal on them. I mean, look at the QX80s. Right before redesign, they have a ton of these big V8 powered, and you'll be able to get crazy deals on QX80s, well, at least off of MSRP. And the 3-row QX60 might be worth looking at as well. You might be able to get some good deals. I'm just going to click on it out of curiosity here. And look, you can get some entry level. Yeah, it's a pure grade, I know, but hey, it's a lot better vehicle. Get a V6, a true 9-speed automatic transmission. Make sure to check out the review on the QX60 that we did with the family. I like this vehicle quite a bit more than the QX50, but it is a lot bigger. And if you're looking for something smaller to drive around town, I totally get it. But this would be an excellent road trip vehicle. Fold those seats down. and have a better ride quality. Even though the QX50 was really, really good for compact crossover, it's even better here in the QX60 and a better, much better drivetrain with the V6 and 9-speed auto. But I got to shut down there. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know which Infiniti you would be going for, or would you be going for some of its competition, Lexus NX, Acura RDX, GLC from Mercedes, X3, GV70 from Genesis, and the list goes on. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Smash the like button if you made it this far. Catch you in the next one. Peace.